time itself may not exist because of things that I cannot discuss right now due to the fact that I am experiencing aphasia and unable to communicate in the most effective manner. I may be able to prove, given the opportunity to relearn math, that we are existing within the Big Bang itself, and that we, using the Large Hadron Collider, at some point ended up creating a secondary Big Bang, and it's something that needs to be considered as a possibility. There are a lot of very strange things that happened to me, and to a handful of individuals that had previously been in my life, this is something that would need to be discussed, studied, researched, theorized, written about, published. I know quite a few people within the world of science and research, and had at one point myself considered roles in medicine and psychology, and to other individuals who had at one point known me in life. What I'm saying right now might sound like it's... Hold on, I just gotta... I've noticed sometimes it seems like there are alerts that pop up on my phone when there's something of importance. So this is very important to note. There are other individuals who, because of their belief systems, their experiences, and their lives, they might view what I have to say, the experience that I had, as something entirely different, simply because they're in a space where it's not something they're able to comprehend. And so I wanted to point that out. I also want to thank you for your time. There was a lot going on. And this is why, again, I have to talk about the use of Robert Monroe's research within products that are promoting very different things than what his work was originally intended for. Especially that with the development of things like in-ear speakers, like earbuds, things of that nature. We forget, consumers on the whole, unless you're, a very scientifically minded individual, you just analyze everything. I'm sorry, I smoked my medical cannabis, and I need to make that clear because I'm very different while I'm on it. We tend to forget things like it's the tiny little hairs in the ear, that help with our perception of reality with things like equilibrium, and that when we, even just the minutest change to our ears, we might be changing the perception of reality in ways that we don't even understand or had previously imagined, simply due to the fact that it just kind of slowly progresses over time. We tend to forget that, what was it, 100 years ago or so, we didn't even have televisions, and when they came in, we were told to limit our screen time. Then, all of a sudden we went from having these office jobs that were primarily paper-based to spending 8 hours a day at work in front of a screen, followed by, looking at a cell phone screen all day, and then going home and watching television. So you went from one thing to something else entirely within such a short time span without having full enough research on what this does to the brain. The reason I'm saying that is because recent research has shown that we can actually use light to program or manipulate behavior in rodents. And if you don't, it is very important to understand that the possibility that also applies to us, especially given the fact that for the most part our devices, unless you're like like I'm an Apple person. So unless you're an Apple person and all of your devices is Apple and you have all of them like this same year released, chances are you'll have variations in things like if you have different brands, you'll have variations in quality of products, in things like refresh rates, in so many, you know, in the I'm thinking of something right now and I can't, like the HD level, things like that. We forget, like, you're going back and forth from different things. Your reality has now gone from being grounded in the physical to suddenly having all of this different, and now we incorporate virtual reality without comprehending what impact that's going to have neurologically and psychologically. Like, I'm sorry, I just ended up on a rant, and that's what I mean is there are individuals in my life who would see me, and again, I am on my medical cannabis right now. I'm not typically like this off of it. I'm much calmer. I do have a tendency to get very passionate about things sometimes, but it's not like this. I've also, I gave up coffee. I noticed that when I got rid of caffeine, a lot of my anxiety and jitteriness and like spasticness went away. So I gave up caffeine on the caffeine on the whole. I do drink Red Bulls and tea, but I'm trying to cut back because the addition of the caffeine, at least from the Red Bull, it seems to be causing insomnia. Like it builds up over time. But it's important to understand that to certain individuals who were previously in my life, once I have the opportunity to explain what was going on, and once I have the opportunity to have a discussion about what happened 2020, end of 2019, because I wouldn't say there are so many different groups and subgroups within our country, within the world, globally. We are, you know, global. We don't think about the fact that we are no longer isolated societies. We are now integrated entirely. Hi. Oh, and I've lost my train of thought because my cat has decided to say hello. Hello. But anyway, so it's just important to understand that as time progresses, we make progress in society. And a lot of our progress has been made because of things that certain other groups have hated. That sounds very different than what I mean. So I'm going to stop talking right now since I'm having difficulty articulating what it is that I need to say. Choosing the right words. Because that track, sometimes, like I think faster or speak faster than I think, and I need to align them. So I apologize. I'm still learning. A lot of people, how many people have, I would really love to know this, how many people grew up from, I want to say infancy to any point prior to age 16 on phenobarbital. I was given it during the first few years of my life. I, as a child, had a lot of difficulties with things. I know why. I had experiences, like I would just kind of black out for periods of time. Like I would be fully conscious, but everything would just like go black, and all like lapses in time, things of that nature. Inability to focus, nonstop thinking, like not able to connect, being present, and like overthinking and things of that nature. But as a child, you're not able to express that. I would have to say that I didn't stop having effects of that because I had it took phenobarbital during my early developmental years, and my mom might not have disclosed, maybe she did, I don't know, her full medical history at the time, including my full medical history at the time, because at some point she told me that she had been tested positive for toxoplasmosis while she was pregnant with me. She claims that it was inactive or like dead, but she still tested positive for toxoplasmosis. I don't know if I did. She didn't tell me about me, but I know certain bits and pieces about my childhood. So there are a variety of factors that make each of us unique and individual, and a lot of things like pharmaceutical companies don't often take that into consideration. I don't want to get into that because that's right now that's not where I want to go. And again, that's what I mean with the I finding myself. I need to prepare what I have to say with so that I don't communicate the wrong message. Because in the past, I've been so trapped within myself because I haven't been allowed to be myself that I'm unable to fully communicate. And again, I apologize if I've like overstepped any bounds or offended anyone. But yeah.